The 1950s and 60s, Cleveland had been sort of systematically deindustrialized over those decades as manufacturing left the city. So the idea was, let us create new capital in the form of community-based, broadly owned businesses rooted in place that could provide decent work and full employment opportunities for local residents. In order for people to really advance, there need to be additional ways to build assets, or we would say build wealth. And by allowing people and encouraging them to have an ownership stake in their business, as the companies succeed, they share in the profits. The thing that intrigues me so much is how far beyond anything in the United States, including Cleveland, the people of Preston have gone, both in terms of the concept, the broad vision of it, but also in terms of the actual structure that's being put in place. With Evergreen in Cleveland that I've been intimately involved in, I like to say, since we started Evergreen, we probably have made literally every mistake you could make. The thought that, well, Evergreen had that problem, and so therefore these models don't make any sense. Well, there's a much bigger history to look at. The Preston model is really an extraordinary representation of what can occur in a place when a full range of community wealth and democratic economy tools are deployed. They began this journey that they're on to create a new model for the local economy. At the time, the high street was shuttered, unemployment was high, there was really no future for the city. They've leveraged £100 million of public employee pension funds. They're creating cooperatives in the city through the university. They're creating a public bank that will be capitalized by the reserves of the city council. They've changed purchasing so that £70 million of purchasing is brought back to the city that used to go internationally or to the city in London. The end result is, when this all began, Preston was listed in the bottom 20% of the most deprived cities and communities in all of the United Kingdom. An assessment of the most improved communities in the United Kingdom. Number one listed was Preston, which is extraordinary in such a short period of time. Now, there's a long way to go, but it shows what's possible when people put their shoulder to the wheel and institutions start to work for local benefit. It's both a testament to the sophistication of their vision and really their economic analysis of what's needed, but also to just the commitment and almost bravery of individuals who go forward and will not be turned back.
Matthew Brown's been working on the City Council since 2002 and became its leader in 2018. His public profile's on the rise, having become synonymous with the so-called Preston model.
What drives your passion to be a public servant?
Well, we've still got huge inequality, and when you go up to the north of England, that is amplified. We're heading towards an American situation in which you've got a small few hundred of people who tend to have about 30 or 40% of the wealth of the economy, and I don't believe you can have a democratic society if there's that wealth inequalities, because you tend to have a lot of influence over politics. After the Preston model, what's happened, there's been a real push and a real culture change to actually buy from local suppliers, support local businesses especially, get a real living wage, get apprentices, get environmental benefits. And there's this kind of collaboration across the majority of the local public sector, which is really fascinating. It's bringing about results.
So what does the Preston model look like in action? We headed over to the Gateway Housing Association, one of the committed anchor institutions here in Preston, to talk to Community Empowerment Manager Paul Kelly and Kay Johnson of Sustainable Food Lancashire.
So, Community Gateway Association, the model is about, rather than the organisation just being set up as a business, it's about creating a governance structure that enables the tenants of our properties to have ownership of the company and to be able to choose a sense of direction of the company, approve all the policies and procedures that the company develops, and have a stake in the organisation. So it's not just run by a faceless board, it's run by themselves with professional support. We have 6,200 tenants, properties in Preston. We have 5 of those tenants are on our board, one of whom is the chair. And I think that keeps it very rooted in this place, in the importance of this place as Preston. We're not an organisation that wants to have properties in Liverpool or Manchester. This is about Preston and the greater Preston area. And I think the model that was established here reflects the Preston model in terms of the people here saying, we want to do it this way because we want to have ownership of it.
I can talk a little bit about what's happening from a food perspective. We've got food grown nearby, about 10 miles from here. The soil is so fertile that it is like some of the best growing land in the country. The produce there goes all over the country and probably further afield. And what we are trying to do is work with the farmers so it can be sold directly, first of all, to people in the communities who often don't get access to fresh local produce, but also we're looking to scale that up so that we can supply to some of the anchor institutions here.